Hi there. Thanks for tuning into this video on the North49 customer portal. In this video, we're going to explore some of the administrative functions that you have control over as the owner of the portal, or the merchant that controls the portal that gives access to your customers so they can self-serve. Specifically, what we're going to show today are things about which features and functions you can specifically control within the customer portal. So I've already logged into the portal as the administrator. And as an administrator, it gives me access to the back end so that I can monitor some of these things and change them. So the first part that I want to show you here, and incidentally, where I'm at portal settings and features and functions, that's what I'm looking at right now. That's this page. So there's three different, call it versions or options where the customer portal is concerned. Number one, there's a basic portal, which gives you access to these check boxes here. So those are standard. You can look at activity, you can reprint invoices, you can check order statuses. There's a pop-up note feature that you can have that is displayed to specific customers. Those types of things are available. The second component that you can add on to that would be the pay account. So this is online account payment that allows folks to pay one or multiple invoices online. With that, you get click to pay, which means you can include a link on an emailed invoice document that takes them to a payment screen, and they can only pay that single document. And then, of course, the option to store those card tokens, which allows your customers to reuse a card and not have to enter it every time. Now, on that particular point, there are two options available to you as far as the customer portal is concerned. We can, depends on who your payment processor is. And if you're using Paya, which used to be Sage Payment Services, now Paya, as Sage sold them some time ago, we can store that card token on the Sage Exchange, which actually makes it available inside of Sage 300 as well. So you could do processing right from within Sage 300. For other processors, we need to store those card tokens on the portal itself. And it's just the token. It's not the card information specifically. That is always stored in the card processor's vault. So neither the portal nor you as the merchant are on the wrong side of PCI compliance. So the other option that you have then is order entry, the quick order entry option that we have with the customer portal that allows your AR customers to place orders online directly with you, and those orders end up straight inside of Sage 300 order entry, either on hold or ready for fulfillment. That's up to you. It's a setting that you have as well, and we'll talk about that when we speak about the order entry part of the portal in another video. Couple of options I'll bring to your attention here as well. Oh, and incidentally, you can turn these on or off. So let's assume you have access to all of this stuff, but you didn't want to make order entry available right now. You simply click that off. Next time somebody logs in, that icon does not appear anymore on that screen. Now, there's two ways that you can look at order status inside of the customer portal. Now, number one is we will simply make a calculation, I guess you would call it, based upon what we can read inside of Sage 300 directly. And incidentally, we read this information live out of Sage 300. We do not store any information on the portal with respect to your customer details that sit inside of Sage 300. We read it on demand. And we have a component we call Connect that governs that communication back and forth. So as long as it's running, we can communicate directly with Sage 300. So you have two options here under viewing order status. It's what we calculate based upon what we know, looking at the shipment status and the order status or the invoice status within Sage 300. We will pop up a message saying what the status is of that order, partially shipped or complete or whatever the case might be, based upon what we find inside of Sage 300. Optionally, we're making use of an optional field called ord status, as you can see here, that basically allows us to look at the value in that optional field to display that as opposed to what we calculated. So that's up to you how you want that to happen. And as well, inside of the document display, when you're viewing transactions or different types of documents, you can choose which documents that your customers will see. By default, they're all checked off, but a lot of folks don't want to see interest charges or any, let's say, I don't know, credit notes or whatever. You can turn these things on and off at your discretion, whatever you want to see happen here. Some folks just want to see invoices and payments, and that's all, or receipts. That's all they want to see, not credit notes, debit notes, any of that stuff. They just want to see the basic invoice and payments, and that's easy enough to do, and you control that here. And the last little bit of information here is what is the URL of your customer portal. Typically, this will be, and we would recommend this, it should be a subdomain of your current website's domain. A couple of reasons why you want to do that. Number one, your customers don't feel like they've been farmed off to some other phishing site. The portal, the customer portal in itself, is a multi-tenant SaaS solution, which means that we host it in our data centers, and it's a single code base that serves up all customers. But we can direct your portal pages directly to your URL. So it would be something like a subdomain of, let's say your domain is mycompany.com. So it would be something like customer.mycompany.com or portal.mycompany.com. So that way, your customers feel like they're still on your site. They're just on a subdomain of your site. You already own the subdomains, I believe, in 99% of the cases. So you don't have to pay for another subdomain. It's already yours. And your customers feel like they're on your site, which really they are, because this is your information inside of your Sage 300 that you're serving up for your customers. So that's how you control what your customers see on the customer portal. Easy to do right from this setting right here. Piece of cake to turn things on and off. Once you get this stuff set up, typically you don't go back in here and mess with it. It's done. The portal just does what it does based upon what you set it up to do. So there's usually very little need to go into the administration side of this thing and change anything. As long as I say that connect piece is running, you're good to go. So there's lots of other videos on my YouTube channel about the customer portal. Have a look at them, both the customer facing side and the admin side, which you will have control over as the merchant or the owner of that portal. If you'd like to have a chat with us about how the customer portal might benefit you and your customers, our contact information will be at the end of this video. So please feel free to reach out and see what we can do to help. Thanks very much for watching.